You stood in front of the mirror, gently dabbing the soft peach tint onto your lips, your fingers trembling slightly, not from nervousness, but from excitement that bloomed like wildflowers inside you. Today I'm finally going out with him. I even texted him earlier. Oh my god, this is happening. Please let it happen. A quiet smile touched your lips as you admired yourself. You had chosen a soft, big, flowy dress that danced around your ankles, cinched at the waist with a delicate belt. A dainty gold pendant rested against your collarbone, and your freshly curled hair bounced slightly over your shoulders. There was a glow on your face, not just from the blush you had applied, but from the hope you carried so carefully in your heart. You glanced at your phone again, checking his message status for the hundredth time. He didn't reply, but maybe he saw it. Maybe he's just being his usual cold self. The sudden ding dong of the doorbell made your heart leap. You rushed downstairs, heels clicking softly against the floor. With a breath held in excitement, you swung the door open, only to find him standing there, Jungkook. Your husband, exhausted, disheveled, the first button of his white shirt undone, jaw tense, and eyes that looked like they had not rested in days. And yet he still looked heartbreakingly handsome. The late evening light caught on his dark lashes and the slight scepter on his chin. You softened at the sight of him, even if he looked drained, even if he didn't smile the way you always hoped, he was still him. You were home, you sat sweetly, stepping aside to let him in. He walked past you with a quiet note. Then suddenly he paused, turning his head slightly to glance at you. His eyes lingered on your dress, your face, the effort you had poured into every detail. He stood for a whole moment, long enough for your heart to flutter with silent hope. You smiled at him expectantly, but his words, when they came, made that smile slowly fade. Are you going somewhere? You blinked, confused. What do you mean? I thought we going out today for a date? Jungkook's bro froze subtly, not in annoyance, but more in uncertainty. Oh, did you plan something by yourself? Your lips parted. No, I texted you, remember, this afternoon. He reached into his pocket, retrieving his phone, and scrolled through the screen. His thumb stopped over your message, the one that still sat and read. I'm sorry, I didn't say it. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck tiredly. I just got off a 10-hour shift. I was planning to rest fine. Your voice trembled with the weight of disappointment you tried to swallow. Can't we go, please, Jungkook? I want to go out. Just for a little while. With you, he looked at you and something flickered in his eyes, a gentleness, but one shadowed by reality. He stepped closer, his voice lower, more careful now. Wine, you are a kid compared to me. What do you think people will say seeing us together like that? You know how they talk. You clench your fists hard but defiant. To hell with what people say, I don't care. I want to go out with my husband. Isn't that enough? There was a moment of silence. His gaze didn't leave yours, but there was a weight behind his expression, a struggle between wanting to give you the word and protecting you from the word at the same time. Then go out if you want, but not with me, not tonight. He said it gently with no edge in his tone, but still the words pierced deeper than if he had shouted. Without another word, he walked past you and stepped outside for some air, leaving you standing at the doorway in your pretty dress and quiet heartbreak mascara shimmering at the edges of your eyes. It's not that he doesn't love me, it's just that he's scared to show it. Maybe he's scared to ruin me. The front door closed behind Jungkook with a quiet click, but to one it echoed louder than thunder in the silent hallway. She stood still for a few seconds as if her body had not registered what just happened. Lipstick perfect, curls untouched, heart cracked right beneath it all. You slowly made your way to the living room, sitting down on the edge of the sofa like a child scolded without reason. You stare down at your lap at the soft fabric of the dress you had picked. A single tear slid down your cheek, then another and another. Not because he yelled, he didn't. Not because he was cruel, he wasn't. But because once again, you were invisible in the eyes of the one you loved the most. He's right, we do have a huge age gap. I'm 19, he's 32. Of course, people stare, of course, they whisper. Did she marry him for money? What's a grown man doing with a college girl? They don't know him, they don't know us. But you did understand him. You knew he was trying to protect you from the ugliness of the world, the rumors, the eyes, the judgments that would crush any young heart. You wiped your tears quickly, sitting up straight. I get it, Chunguk, I really do, but if you won't look at me with pride, maybe you will look at me with jealousy. With a flash of boldness rising through your veins, you picked up your phone and scrolled to a familiar contact, Boom So, your college best friend, tall, kind eyed, with a boyish charm and a protective streak that had comforted you more times than you could count. You didn't think, you just tapped the call button. Wow, why aren't you okay? You never call this late. Hey, can you do me a favor? That already sounds dangerous. Go on. You took a breath, bracing for the ridiculousness of what you were about to say. Let's go on a date tomorrow. A pause, a long one. I'm sorry, what? Like a pretend date? I want to go out, dress up just for a few hours. You were married wine to John Jungkook, you know, the mysterious CEO husband everyone's scared of. Yeah, and he's also the same man who never takes his wife out because I'm too young, because people gossip, because I'm apparently a child to him. Your voice cracked slightly and Bhomsuk instantly softened on the other end. Wine. I'm not asking you to actually date me. I want to make him jealous just a little. Maybe then he will see me. Another pause, then a sigh. You know, this is a terrible idea, right? Maybe, but you and are not. There was a moment of silence before he chuckled. Fine, I'll pick you up at 6, but if your husband kills me, I'm blaming your pretty face. You smiled for the first time that night, just a little. Maybe it was immature, maybe it was reckless, but something in you wanted to be seen. Not as a kid, not as a fragile little secret, but as a woman was standing beside in public. Let's see, June Chungkook, if watching someone else hold my hand stirs anything in that cold heart of yours. The next morning began like any other. Sunlight spilled softly through the sheer curtains of the bedroom, casting a golden hue over everything it touched. You sat on the edge of the bed, still in your robe, sipping quietly on lukewarm coffee, while your husband Jun Jungkook was in the bathroom, the sound of water humming from the shower. Just as you reached for your phone, a ding echoed from his side of the bed. You glanced instinctively. His phone lit up with a notification from his assistant, Minji. Sir, just a reminder, 6:15 p.m. lunch meeting with the potential investor at Lumiere launch. Your lips curved into a smile that was one of the most elegant restaurants in town, and now you knew exactly where fate was taking you. Well, well, let's meet there, Joan. A few minutes later, Jungkook emerged from the bathroom, towel around his neck, running a hand through his wet hair. His white shirt clung slightly to his damp skin, and despite everything, your heart still fluttered at the sight of him. He looked calm, untouched, as though last night had not happened. You walked over and picked your bag. I'm heading out around noon. You said casually. Jungkook glanced up, buttoning his cuff. Meeting someone? Yeah, a friend. You sat, keeping your tone even. He paused for a second but then simply nodded. All right, be careful. You sat across from him during breakfast. The clink of silverware and distant news from the TV filled the quiet between you two. You didn't talk much, you didn't need to. Another ding vibrated against the table. This time it was your phone, a message from Bomso. You sure you still want to do this, Miss Heartbreak? I'm outside in 5. You better look dangerous. You grinned, pushing your chair back with a little spark in your eyes. A short while later, you walked down the steps of your home, dressed in a stunning pastel blue wrap dress with soft satin shine, hugging your figure with elegance. Your hair flowed naturally, makeup flawless, and your heels clicked with just enough confidence to echo. Boomchuk stood beside his car, leaned back in a blazer over a white tee, arms folded and eyebrows raised. You seriously want me to believe this is just about making him jealous? He asked, whistling low. Drive, you said with a wing before I changed my mind. Lumiere Lounge. The soft jazz in the background, the glass chandeliers, and the clatter of cutlery over polished marble floors created an ambience of sophistication. You stepped in beside Bhumsuk, arms brushing his, your smile carefree yet charged with a quiet storm beneath. The hostess led you to your reserved table, but your eyes were already searching and you didn't have to search long. There he was, John Jungkook, seated at a private table on the upper level, dressed in his signature tailored cargo suit. His expression unreadable as always, but his posture perfect, his wristwatch gleaming as he gestured while listening to the woman across from him. She was elegant, sleek, black power suit, sharp eyes, lips painted in deep red, the kind of woman people didn't just look at, they noticed. A textbook CEO. But then his eyes flicked up and they landed on you. He froze just for a beat. You didn't miss it. You kept laughing at something Bomsuk said, touching his arm, tilting your head just right, and Jungkook's gaze didn't move. Not for a second. The woman just still talking. He wasn't listening anymore. Moments later, she stood up, seemingly finishing the discussion and giving a polite handshake. She turned to leave with grace. As she passed your table, she barely spared you a glance, but Jungkook didn't move. Until she was gone, then he stood adjusting the buttons of his coats slowly and walked straight toward your table. Your back straightened just a little, but you didn't stop smiling. He reached you and stood by your table, casting a long shadow over the two of you. What are you doing here? You looked up at him sweetly, eyes innocent but voice cold, obviously on a date. Lumiere launch, 12:34 p.m. As you clink your glass with bomb soap, laughter danced on your lips, not forced but bold. For the first time, you were not hiding behind disappointment, and your husband, Jungkook, stood just a few steps away, eyes locked on you with a tight jaw and a stiff expression. Homesuk leaned closer and said with a teasing grin loud enough for him to hear. If I would known you clean up this beautifully, I would have asked you out ages ago. You smile, playing along. Too bad you're late. I'm married though. Technically, my husband avoids me like I'm contagious. Jungkook's fist is clenched at his side, strategy. Why are you doing this? His voice was low, held together by tension and disbelief. Because you never go out with me, never take me on dates, I'm always just waiting. You know the reason. You stood up, matching his height now, chin tilted defiantly. Jungkook's nostrils flared, and in a sudden motion, he reached forward, wrapping his fingers firmly around your wrist. He didn't hurt you, and the pull was full of restrained emotion as he gently but commandingly led you out of the restaurant. Behind you, Bomsok winked and mouthed, "Go get your man." Later at home, the bedroom door shut behind him with a soft click. Jungkook ran a hand through his hair, back turned to you as he let out a long wait. You stood by the dresser, heart racing. The silence was sharp until finally his voice broke through it. "Why are you doing this, Wine?" He looked up startled, but then his voice cracked and something inside you shattered. "Was I not enough for you? Did I ever make you feel unloved?" You turned to him slowly. His back was still to you, shoulders tense, but then you saw his hand wipe something from his cheek, a tear. You were frozen. "Oh God, what did I do?" He finally turned, eyes glossy, expression raw in a way you had never seen before. "You want to know why I don't take you out, why I act cold? I will tell you." You nodded silently, throat tight. "Because people talk wine. They look at us like we are a scandal, like you are a trophy or I'm your sugar daddy. You are 19, I'm 32. You know what kind of things they say." He looked down, his voice nearly trembling. "Back in college, I had a friend. He married a girl much younger than him. He loved her to death, but people never let them breathe. They whispered at restaurants, gossips at weddings. He said it broke her down over time. That's why I thought I kept us private. Maybe I could shield you." He looked at you now, eyes glossy, tired. "I can take it when they talk about me, but if someone said something about you, I wouldn't be able to hold myself back. I married you because I love you, and I fell for you since for your first year when you tripped on the stairs and still tried to act like you owned the place. You let out a small broken sound, half sob, half laugh. But today, you were on a date with another man. I know I'm not perfect, but he collapsed on the edge of the bed, face in his hands, tears spilled silently onto his palms. You sank to the floor, near his legs, guilt clawing up your throat like fire. You gently reached out, wrapping your fingers around his cold hand. He didn't look at you, his jaw was clenched, eyes averted. So you bent forward and pressed a kiss to his knuckles, then the other hand, both trembling. "I'm sorry, Jungkook. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I thought you didn't want to be seen with me because you were ashamed. I was just trying to make you jealous till no reaction. Please look at me. I love you so much and I'm sorry it was stupid. Please don't hate me." Finally, he glanced toward you, but his eyes held pain. "Oh, yeah, is that why you were dating someone else?" You let out a nervous, awkward laugh, cheeks flushed. It wasn't real. He was part of the plan. Bomsok agreed to help. We were just trying to get your attention. He stared at you for a long moment, then exhaled, leaning back with his head against the wall. "You already have my attention, Wine. You always did. You are just too young to see how much it scares me." You reached up and gently touched his cheek, wiping away the tear streaks with your thumb. I'm young, yes, but not stupid and not weak. Let me carry your love in public to Jungkook, not just behind closed doors. He looked down at you for a long, long moment and finally he cupped your face. Don't ever pull that stunt again. Promise, and I'm taking you out this weekend, no hiding, let the word talk. You smiled this time through real tears, and for the first time in what felt like forever, he leaned down and kissed your forehead like he was sealing the vow with quiet love.